The Case of the Vanishing Violinist. In the heart of London, under the shadow of the towering Big Ben, the city was alive with the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. But amidst the cheer, a mystery unfolded that sent ripples of concern through the cobblestone streets. Renowned violinist Elisa Montgomery had vanished without a trace after her mesmerizing performance at the Royal Opera House. The last note of her Stradivarius still echoed in the minds of the audience when the news broke out. Scotland Yard's finest, Detective Inspector Liam Stirling, was called upon to unravel the enigma. The night was cold, and the fog hung low as Stirling arrived at the Opera House. He was greeted by the anxious manager, Mr. Hawthorne, who led him backstage to Elisa's dressing room. The room was untouched, her violin missing, and a single red rose lay on the vanity, a calling card from the elusive Phantom, a thief known for his dramatic flair and love for the arts. Stirling's keen eyes caught a faint glimmer on the floor, a broken string from Elisa's violin. It was a clue that set him on a trail through London's underbelly, from the dimly lit alleys of Soho to the opulent halls of high society. As the clock struck midnight, Stirling found himself at a clandestine auction where stolen treasures were traded for fortunes. And there, among the ill-gotten gains, was Elisa's Stradivarius. But the violinist was nowhere to be seen. With a swift move, Stirling revealed his badge, and chaos ensued. In the commotion, a figure tried to slip away, a figure Stirling recognized as the Phantom. A chase through the labyrinthine streets led Stirling to a dead end, but the Phantom was gone, and so was the violin. Defeated, Stirling returned to the Opera House, only to find Elisa waiting for him, violin in hand. She revealed a tale of blackmail and deceit, where she had been forced to fake her disappearance to save her family from ruin. The Phantom was no thief but a savior in disguise. As dawn broke over the city, Elisa's music filled the air once more, and Stirling knew that some mysteries were better left unsolved, for the truth was often stranger than fiction. The Whispering Gallery. In the echoing halls of the Whispering Gallery, a secret lingered in the air, waiting to be uncovered. Detective Emilia Clarke had always been fascinated by the acoustics of the dome, where a whisper could travel clear across the room. But today, she was here not for the marvels of science, but for a crime that defied explanation. The gallery's curator, an esteemed historian with a penchant for puzzles, had been found locked inside the dome, lifeless, with no sign of entry or exit. The only clue was a series of whispers that seemed to bounce endlessly off the walls, forming a riddle that only the keenest of minds could solve. Emilia listened intently, deciphering the words that led her on a chase through the city's archives, unraveling a tale of betrayal and the hidden treasure that the curator had discovered. It was a race against time as Emilia pieced together the puzzle, leading her to the heart of the gallery, where the truth lay hidden in plain sight. The Clockmaker's Legacy. The old clock tower had stood the test of time, its hands moving with unerring precision. But when the clockmaker was found dead, time seemed to stand still for the town of Greenwich. Inspector Jameson, with his methodical approach and attention to detail, was tasked with solving a mystery that was as intricate as the inner workings of the clock itself. The clockmaker had left behind a legacy of timepieces, each more elaborate than the last. But it was his final creation, a clock with a mechanism no one could fathom, that held the key to his demise. Jameson delved into the clockmaker's past, uncovering a web of rivalries and a coveted invention that many would kill for. As the gears of the investigation turned, Jameson found himself in a race against a ticking clock, where every second brought him closer to a killer who was always one step ahead. It was a test of wits and wills, where only time would tell if justice would be served. Eyes in the shadows. It was a dark night, and as the foggy streets of London were shrouded in silence, a mysterious burglary took place at the home of a famous jewel collector. The most prized piece of his collection, the Shadow Diamond, had vanished. Detective Charlotte Holmes was called upon to solve this challenging case. Upon arriving at the scene, Charlotte meticulously examined every corner of the house. There were no signs of forced entry, and the security cameras had been tampered with. However, one detail caught Charlotte's attention: a small piece of paper lying on the floor in front of a mirror. When she examined the paper, she found a message written in an ancient cipher. Deciphering the message led Charlotte to a map indicating where the jewel was hidden. Following the map's clues, she navigated through the city's labyrinthine alleys, each turn bringing her closer to the truth. The trail ended at an old, abandoned theater. Inside, amidst the dust-covered seats and a stage that had seen better days, Charlotte found the Shadow Diamond, carefully placed on a pedestal. But this was not the end of the mystery, it was just the beginning. As she reached for the diamond, the lights flickered on, and a figure emerged from the shadows. It was the jewel collector himself, who revealed that the theft was a test to find the worthy successor to his legacy. Impressed by her skills, he offered Charlotte the chance to become the guardian of his collection. Charlotte, with the Shadow Diamond in hand, knew that some cases were more than just a matter of stolen goods. They were about the legacy and trust that bind the past to the future. The case of the vanishing pearls. In the heart of London, the fog lay thick upon the cobblestone streets, cloaking the city in a shroud of mystery. Detective Inspector Lila Gray stepped out of her black cab and made her way to the grand entrance of the Haversham estate. The air was tense with anticipation. The infamous Haversham pearls had vanished without a trace. As she entered the opulent drawing room, she was greeted by an array of anxious faces. The lady of the house, Eleanor Haversham, sat wringing her hands, her eyes red from weeping. Her husband, Lord Charles, stood by the fireplace, his expression stoic yet troubled. "Inspector Gray, thank heavens you're here," Eleanor exclaimed. "The pearls have been in our family for generations, and to lose them in such a manner is unthinkable." Lila nodded, her keen eyes scanning the room. "Fear not, Lady Haversham. I shall do my utmost to recover your precious heirloom. Now, tell me, when were the pearls last seen?" "They were in the safe last night," Lord Charles interjected. "But this morning, they were gone. The safe was not forced open, and there are no signs of a break-in." Intrigued, Lila approached the safe, examining it closely. It was then that she noticed a faint smudge on the dial, a smudge that could only be made by a glove. "It appears the thief knew the combination," she mused. "This suggests an inside job." The room erupted in gasps and murmurs. The staff exchanged nervous glances, and the tension rose palpably. "Let us not jump to conclusions," Lila said calmly. "I shall interview each member of the household and the staff. Someone must have seen or heard something." Hours passed as Lila meticulously gathered statements. It was the quiet words of the gardener that caught her attention. I saw young Master William near the safe last night, he said hesitantly. He seemed troubled. William, the Haversham's son, was known for his gambling debts. Lila found him in the library, a look of guilt etched upon his face. William, did you take the pearls? Lila asked softly. He broke down, confessing to the theft. He had planned to sell the pearls to pay off his debts but realized the gravity of his actions too late. The pearls were recovered, and the Havershams, though disappointed in their son, were grateful to Lila for her swift resolution of the case. As for Lila Gray, it was just another day's work in the life of a London detective.